Episode 438. Yi Shu stood up, walked over to the window, and looked outside. Sitting nearby, Tang Ru looked over at Yi Shu's face. She was taken aback to find a trace of hesitation there. She had never seen such hesitation on Yi Shu's face before. Chen Guo silently returned to her seat. She had voiced her question, and if Ye Shu didn't answer, she wouldn't press him any further. Chen Guo simply sat there in silence. Yi Shu turned around, a mocking smile now playing on his lips.
The reason is actually pretty embarrassing.
Both girls perked up their ears. He's actually willing to talk.
Because I ran away from home.
You ran away from home.
Chen Guo repeated the words, but as Tang Ro looked at Ye Shu, a strange expression flickered across her face. In an instant, that odd expression vanished.
Running away from home? For what reason?
Yi Shu didn't answer, just gave a look that said, "You know how it is." Chen Guo caught on immediately, then asked with a look of surprise,
It's not just for gaming, is it?
Yi Shu gave a helpless, bitter smile. Tang Ru and Chen Guo just stared at each other. Even Chen Guo, who was super into glory, couldn't wrap her head around this at all. Running away from home for a game? That's some next-level obsession. Is he out of his mind? An awkward silence fell over the room. No one knew how to continue the conversation. Yi Shu also sat back down in his seat, his expression returning to its usual calm. But as Chen Guo looked at the guy now, she suddenly felt that besides the peerless top-tier god and the infuriating chain-smoking net cafe manager, there was yet another new face. He was just a ridiculously immature kid.
When did you run away from home?
In the end, it was Chen Guo who broke the silence.
About 10 years ago.
Back when Glory first launched.
Pretty much.
So you ran away just to play Glory?
Not really. I've dabbled in a few other games before.
Chen Guo didn't press the matter any further, as none of those questions really mattered. In short, looking back now, this guy ran away from home to play games to his heart's content, then stumbled upon the launch of Glory, threw himself into it, entered the pro scene, and became a legendary god-tier player who dominated the scene for a time. That's a pretty glorious ending, all things considered. Chen Guo, however, was rather hoping there was some tragic reason behind it all, something that had forced the guy to run away from home. Then, paired with such a glorious achievement, it would have been a truly epic and moving tale. Unfortunately, Yi Shu has already said outright that he left home for the sake of gaming, and he admitted it himself. It was a shameful thing. Even with the achievements he has now, there's no denying it. That initial decision to run away from home was childish, laughable, shameful, selfish, and utterly irresponsible. Yi Shu was well aware of this himself. He was just lucky. He happened to have a talent for gaming, and then he caught the dawn of the Glory era. Otherwise, it's hard to say how this whole farce of running away from home for a game would have ended.
And now? You haven't been back home to visit either?
I have.
Oh?
It ended badly.
What is it?
Because in their eyes, playing games will always be a waste of time.
Yi Shu was completely unruffled. Chen Guo fell silent. As a fan of the game, Chen Guo was well aware of this social reality. While the Glory Pro League is thriving, with its players enjoying glamour, substantial income, and massive popularity, the industry's flaws are severe and cannot be ignored. Practitioners must abandon their studies very early, their careers are extremely short, and there is no comprehensive system to ensure their survival after retirement. On top of that, the success rate for becoming a pro is incredibly low. Only a couple hundred people can stand in the professional circle, so no parent would ever encourage their child to walk down this path. Every single pro player in the Alliance has a painful history behind them. Yi Shu's just happens to look a little more absurd than most. Running away from home for the sake of a game, even Chen Guo, and even the present-day Ye Shu, found it a bit much. It's easy to imagine how utterly blasphemous such behavior would seem to those who view gaming as a scourge.
Well, at least you succeeded.
Chen Guo said this suddenly, because she abruptly felt that the newfound contempt she felt for it was somehow misplaced. For some, video games are a scourge, a digital poison. But for players like Chen Guo, they're just a casual pastime. But for Yi Shu, and for so many of these professional players, What is a game, really? Yi Shu's running away from home wasn't just about chasing a moment's pleasure. Chen Guo realized that judging this behavior by most people's understanding of gaming was perhaps a bit too harsh. Yi Shu left for the very same reasons, for what he loved, for his ideals, for the pursuit of them. If a young man ran away from home to pursue a dream of music, would he face this much condemnation? If a young man ran away from home in pursuit of science, would everyone think he was ambitious? There are countless things like that in the world. Gaming just happens to be one that isn't widely accepted. But for Yi Shu, the color of his dreams and ambitions would never fade.
I could play for another 10 years and never get tired of it.
Chen Guo suddenly remembered Ye Shu saying those words with a smile. Chen Guo suddenly felt the urge to cry. Chen Guo had never been one to control her emotions well. When she felt like laughing, she laughed. When she felt like getting angry, she got angry. And when she felt like crying, well, that was even more troublesome. Tears are often the most unruly of things. In that moment, thinking of Yi Shu's past and his state of mind, she realized the pain and helplessness in his heart. Chen Guo's nose stung. She knew right away she was about to cry like a fool.
I'm going to bed.
Chen Guo immediately stood up, stamped her foot, and then charged out the door without another word. Yi Shu was a bit taken aback. Given his understanding of Chen Guo, he'd been prepared for a more thorough interrogation. Who would have thought the big boss Chen would just charge out like that, without a second thought? Yi Shu scratched his head and looked at Tang Ru. Tang Ru smiled, then stood up and said,
I'll head back and rest now too.
All right.
Yi Shu gave a nod. Seeing the two of them about to leave, he immediately fished out a cigarette and put it between his lips. Tang Ru walked to the door, pulled it open, and then suddenly stopped. She turned back to look at Yi Shu.
Have you ever regretted running away from home?
Never. I just feel a little sorry. If I regretted it, I'd have gone back long ago. We're family.
You're right.
Tang Ru nodded, then closed the door and left.